me, you are from which classroom? And I'm sorry, if you are from G2 section or E1 section, then accordingly you can start, answering for the
G2
question.
section.
G2, yeah, tell me.
G2 section. I'm from G2 section.
Yeah, tell me, tell me. What is a conflict?
Conflict is nothing but to disagree upon a point which has been raised upon.
Okay, so when you disagree on the points somebody says, or somebody, disagreement or argument, on which ideas or the areas, when we discuss with among your friends or relatives or somebody, so correct, it can be with anonymous people also. So which may lead to a clash. Sometimes like it can be called as a sometimes fight, a battle, or struggle. Sometimes it can prolong, uh, or which would sometimes, the controversy what you have would also lead to a conflict. Now we will see one by one. So from somebody from E1 section, you were responding. E1 section. Yeah. Okay, difference of opinions. Okay, fine. Difference of opinions or disagreement, or the sometimes, conflict within yourself, or conflict with other people, conflict with the environment, and conflict with, supernatural elements. You have a n number of, conflicts that happen among yourself. So we will see what is that conflict is, and why do we have to learn conflict management. That's what we are going to see in the session of conflict management. So before we start, there are certain things, learning objectives. What are the learning objectives we have is, we will define what is a conflict is. Then we will see to understand, these are the learning objectives. One is to get to know what is a conflict is. Then second one is to understand the importance of utilizing appropriate personal management skill to deal with conflict. That is the second one, utilizing appropriate personal management skill. The third one, to review typical conflicts. One is resolved, one is involved, and possible methods generally used. So what are the possible methods that use in order to resolve the conflict, and to become familiar with necessary skills in resolving the conflicts? Almost similar. So, correct? So these are the learning objectives for conflict management. Then first of all, these are the, definitions for the conflict. As somebody said, starting with the disagreement. Conflict is a serious disagreement and argument about something important. So why do you have a disagreement? Why do you want to disagree on the areas, when you discuss with somebody? It happens with among your friends. It happens when you get married. So the thing is, you fight for your points, whatever the valid points that you put forward. You want that points to be accepted by other people. But when they disagree on those points, maybe they come up with the difference of opinions. Is that correct? So when they come up with sort of different opinions, then you also start to disagree, and they don't agree your points. Then they also come to a disagreement, which also leads to argument. Then automatically that conflict, comes up and it takes place. That's the first reason. That is the definition. First one, conflict is a serious disagreement, an argument about something important, because anyway something is important. So you decide, whether, suppose in, for a simple example, you want to go for a tour, maybe some of the other places, and you have a discussion with your friends to decide which place you are going. Maybe you are interested to go to a particular place, where your friend is interested to go to some other place. So you have a conversation, you have a discussion with your friends. But some people would support your points, which means that let's go to that particular place. Some would go and support with somebody else. But where you have a disagreement, when you don't compromise, so when you stand with your own points, which means with your own place, so where it automatically leads to argument. So okay, sometimes either they will not come for the tour. So okay, it's because you are not supporting his points, whether you are not going to that particular place, or sometimes they will come, but still the conflict, the argument that happens within themselves, they may not talk the way they talked to you earlier. So the one thing about the disagreement, then it leads to argument, then your conflict rises. Then conflicts are generally defined as relational disputes between two or more parties. So relational disputes, so related to sometimes relationship that what you have, and when you don't maybe the defined as a relational disputes. So when you don't have a good conversations among your friends, then also leads to a conflict. So correct. So which also leads to a conflict. Then conflict arises whenever individuals have different values, opinions, needs, interests, and are unable to find a middle way. So moreover, so all those definitions are one or the other way is being interrelated. But at last, conflict arises whenever individuals have different values, opinions, needs, interest, and are unable to find a middle way. Which means every individual have a sort of values, different sort of opinions. They will have a different set of interest. The thing is, we are in the position to either agree or disagree, but at the same time, there should be a goal to reach. So when you have a particular goal, and there will be differences of opinions, but at last you need to come to an agreement. So when you don't agree on that particular area, which leads to a conflict. So correct. So maybe sometimes you accept a person's point, sometimes you may not accept the points. That is where sometimes people are the power to dominate other people in order to accept their points or values, which means so when you talk to faculties, that those points are not really valid, but still you agree because the position that you are in. Sometimes you don't agree because you are in that such a position. So, correct? So I am a senior, then why I have to listen to what you say or what sort of opinions that you give. You just listen to me and accept, and we will proceed according to that. Those sort of differences of opinions that happens around, among the people, then which would also leads to a conflict. So this is a definition for the conflicts moreover, but most probably what is that is the meaning is, so why the reason behind conflict is the serious disagreement. That's the most important thing. Different sort of values, different sort of opinions, or when people have different sort of interests among each other, which would also lead to a conflict. Then we have types of conflict. There are different types of conflict which happens in the organizations, in the group, as well as the personal conflict. So we have three types, starting from organization, group, and personal. And every sector, we have two different types. One is inter-conflict, intra-conflict, and even in the group, you have inter-conflict as well as intra-conflict. And in a personal, you have again inter-conflict and intra-conflict. Let's see in different sectors what is that inter-conflict and what is that intra-conflict is all about. Okay, so in the organization, can somebody read? Just once again, don't read. Okay, so from G2 052.
Yes, sir.
So kindly read inter-organizational conflict. Yes.
Inter-organizational. Conflict between members of two different organizations. Example, teachers of two schools or two schools in the same city.
Okay, intra-organizational.
Intra-organization, inter-organizational. Conflict between members of the same organization. Example, conflict between teaching and non-teaching or between teachers of different subjects.
Okay, so we have a different sectors. Is that correct? So moreover, it is been covered. So our entire life is part of either you will be in the organizations or group or on the personal side. But the inter-organizational is something that whether it's a corporate sector, or teaching sector, or even in your business sector, you are businessman. If you are starting your own organizations, you are into that. So conflict, what is a inter-organizational conflict is all about conflict between. So why you have to learn all these areas is to understand, when you become a manager or a TL, to manage, when the conflict arises among the people or the employees in your organization. So correct. So you should know what is an inter-organizational, what is an intra-organizational. Inter-organizational conflict between members of two different organizations. Suppose a conflict between faculties from SRM in VIT. So people from a different organization. Okay? So teachers of two schools in the same city, or colleges or universities in the same city. So when there is a disagreement, when there is a conflict, so it can be a personal sometimes, which leads to a different, sometimes which are related to ranking or the topics that they teach. So when they go for the conferences, so when there is a misunderstanding among the faculties, which also leads to a conflict, which happens inter-organizational. So teachers of two schools or two colleges or universities in the same city, which is an inter-organizational. Intra-organizational conflict, which is very, very important because it happens within that particular organization. So conflict between teaching or non-teaching, or between teachers of different subject in the same organization. Suppose if there is a conflict among the same employees, the floor, suppose if you are in the corporate sector, same, in the same organization or the same companies, people who are in the 9th floor, people who are in the 8th floor, so there is a conflict among those people, then which is a intra-organizational conflict. So conflict between teaching or non-teaching, or between teachers of different subject in the same organization. So that is a intra-organizational. And then group, what is that conflict? Intergroup or intra-group conflict. 386 from G2 section. .386, 388, I'm sorry, 384.
The number ends at 380 only, sir.
Okay, 380, sorry. 380 is here. Okay. E1, 389. E1, 389, 388. There for E1 section. Okay, 1389. So 1389 present for today? No. Okay, so 281 from E1. Okay, kindly read a group here. Yeah. Where were you? Okay, fine. So read group, not organization. That part is over. So again, there is a two part, inter-organizational and intra-organizational. Inter-organizational is a conflict members of two different organization. Intra-organizational is conflict among the same organization. So people in the same organization. Kindly read group. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this one is the conflict between members of two different groups. So, earlier what we see in the inter-organization is an individual. As an individual, when there is a conflict, but here as a group, so you will have a conflict between the particular department, a set of people. There will be 5 members. There is a clash between the other 5 groups from different organizations. So this is a conflict between members of teaching versus non-teaching, for an example I'm saying. But the same thing, as a student, you will have a particular set of group and maybe 5 to 6 members, and there is a clash there with the other set of group from, it can be from a different department. So correct. So maybe computer science department having a bit of conflict with some other department. So that is a intergroup conflict between members of two different groups. Like here example I have mentioned, teaching versus non-teaching. But intra-group conflict between members of the same group, example when they do not agree on some issues, conflict between members of the same, you have a set of group. So within your group, within your friend circle, you formed as a one group with a similar interest, right? So you have a set of friends when you have a similar interest among each other, that but still you will have a sort of conflict. Sometimes you and the best friends, among the best friends, there will be a conflict. So when they do not agree on some sort of issues, there is some disagreement when they have, a difference of opinions when they have, which also leads to a conflict. Then moving ahead with personal conflict, we have 2 different types in the personal conflict. 291 from E1 section. 291, 292 from E1. Yeah, kindly read. Okay. The thing is, the personal conflict, interpersonal conflict between 2 or more people, differences in views or opinions, like example, teacher versus principal, or conflict between 2 friends. So, okay, so which is a inter-conflict among, as I said, maybe with the close friends, when you have a conflict, and that is a inter-conflict. Intra-conflict, conflict within a person, create physical and psychological distress when a person does not know what to do, like stress, depression, anxiety, which also leads to a conflict among the people. So conflict within a person, which means within yourself, because of stress, sometimes you fight with yourself. So why I am doing this? So correct. So you have a conflict within yourself. Is that correct? Like within your inner self, due to stress or depressions, what happens is sometimes you won't be able to complete the task on time. But for an example, what I do is your deadline to submit an assignment is 12 p.m. So okay, suppose if there is a time like 11:30 p.m. You know how to submit it, and you have a network issues, everything is done in a proper manner. But at last moment, you have almost half an hour time, and you can submit it within 2 minutes, and you just started to work on, and you have only Wi-Fi, but suddenly there is a power shutdown, and you don't have a power, and you're supposed to submit the assignment also within that time. What sort of things that you will have is, you will have a sort of stress or anxiety within yourself, right? So which would leads to a conflict within yourself. So why should I have done that earlier? Yeah, why I have delayed it? Why did I postpone all those things? So that sort of procrastination, which also leads to a stress or a depression or anxiety. The depression may not be, but anxiety or stress would happen. You start to punch on the wall, or you do some other things, you shout, that sort of things that happens within yourself, which is a intrapersonal conflict. So conflict within a person, which creates physical and psychological distress when a person does not know what to do. So correct. So this is what happens in terms of organization, group, or personal conflict. Now, what are the reasons begin conflict? Can somebody say, so maybe like, again, you'll be coming up with the different sort of reasons like a disagreement, but we will see what are the main reasons behind, what are the causes of conflict. So first one is individual and cultural differences. When people follow different culture, when you sometimes you make fun of that particular culture, which you should not do that. But you follow a different culture and you come up from that background, and the other people will come up with, it's very difficult sometimes for them to take time to adapt to that particular culture. So great, so they will have a sort of difference of opinions, which also lead to a conflict. That is the first one. The second one, personality clashes. I am a senior and you are a junior. So in such a manner, this is great. So you will have a personality conflict among your friends or your relatives. The respect, sometimes you look for that particular dignity, the reputation that what you have already. So those things are there, within yourself, which also leads to a sort of conflict. Personality, which means you are based on your characteristics, your behavior, where when they don't the thing is, yes, and further. The class. Okay, so here personality conflict is because of the you have your own way of life, is like, right? So you have own way, or the way you approach certain things may not in like it can be family related based on the social situations, which also leads to a personality clashes among your friends or relatives, which also lead to a conflict. Then you have a competition for resources, which you can see in the images also here, which I have mentioned here. Sometimes when you have a sort of resources, very limited resources, when you fight for those resources, then automatically that also leads to a sort of conflict. So suppose as a faculty, you have only one projector in the particular classroom, and I also want to use that projector at the same time, and the other faculty also wants to use that projector at the same time. So there is a conversation that how important that lesson is. Should I need to use that projector or not? So if they don't agree on that particular point, at last somebody, the one or the other, has to come to the conclusion, right? So which also leads to a conflict, like a competition for resources. Then you have unclear roles or role ambiguity. If you don't have a clear idea what you supposed to do, or when there is a no leader, there should be some other as a leader to complete the particular task. But because people will come up with the different sort of opinions, then you will not come to an agreement. That is where you have to have a leader. So which also later role ambiguity, when there is a doubtful things that happen among your group, which also lead to a conflict, because people may not know what to do, what not to do, which also lead to a conflict. There is another reason. And the lack of cooperation, yes, would happens among your friends most of the times. The thing is, when we ask you to make a video, yeah, particularly for example, I'm saying, sometimes there are people who really coordinate, and within that particular period they will submit their video. And there are some students who take much more time. Maybe they will take it as an advantage if they have a close friends as a leader. Okay, so I will submit later on here. You just start with the editing work, so I will submit it. So at last, if there is a deadline, sort of stress that leader would have, right? So when you don't cooperate with that particular leader, which also lead to a conflict. And differences of opinions, yes. Then you have too much expectations. Expectations, what you have when you get married, you have sort of expectations towards your to your wife, or the same way to your husband, and sort of expectation that you have towards your close friends. What sort of expectations you have, whether they are able to meet your expectations or not. So that also leads to that also leads to a conflict. Sometimes you expect them to be with you every time, sort of possessiveness that you have. And sometimes they may not have busy with some other work. You have one of the other friends, they want to go for a movie, they fail to include you a name, maybe they fail to call you to come for the movie. So correct. But what you expect is you want them to tell whatever things that they are doing. Usually that happens when the person falls in love with somebody. So correct. What happens? You want to tell what has happened today from the beginning, when you wake up and you did that, this, and in the beginning it happens, right? But later on, after a sort of year, you may not do that. Or once they get married, they may not do that. Why you have done all those things earlier and why you are not doing it now? Sort of expectations that you have towards somebody, with whom you are in love with. So too much expectations, the expectation, that's fine, but too much expectation would always leads to a sort of conflict. Then role pressure, again, with the close friends. When there is a task to complete on that particular period of time, as a close friends, what they do is, no, I will not submit it. You do whatever you want to do. Sort of things that do. At the same time, what sort of role is when all the faculties has to complete a PhD within that particular period of time. There will be sort of pressure already built for the HODs or the directors. So, what sort of pressure? Because they want to pressurize the faculties to start working on their PhDs. If they don't work on it, then your role gives you sort of pressure, because you are answerable why those faculties are not start doing their PhDs. You are in the position to answer for all those questions. So that role pressure would also lead to a conflict. What sort of conflict? Conflict among the faculties as well as among the HODs, whether why you are not doing it. So they come up with different sort of reasons, which also leads to a conflict. Role pressure. Then aggressive behavior. You don't know, sometimes you have to sometimes react, sometimes you have to respond. But if you respond, that's absolutely fine. But when they react in an aggressive manner, which also leads to conflict. These are the major areas. So there are some other reasons also, but when we look at the reasons of conflict, this would cover the most of the areas, like individual and cultural differences, personality clashes, competition for resources, unclear role or role ambiguity, or lack of cooperation, a difference of opinion, too much expectation, role pressure, and aggressive behavior. So these are the reasons behind conflict. Why you should know? Because if you are in such a position, maybe you try to respond to those things. So you don't ever react. Even when they go for competition for resources, understand that, and accordingly you have to move on. So you don't ever have a clash with somebody. Sometimes very simple things can lead to a conflict. You might lose a sort of very good relationships because of your aggressive behavior, because of your role pressure, because of too much expectations. Even you have a sort of time to build a better relationship. You do have taken it takes a period. So like you take a year, months, years and months to build a better relationship. But because of one or two things, like very simple things would always break up your relationship, which you have taken almost 3 years, 4 years to build sort of relationships. Is it correct? So you have to understand that what is the reason behind, and then accordingly you have to take the decision. At last, when you are aggressive all the times, when you are angry at the time, that would never ever help you out in terms of your behavior, in terms of your career, or even in the personal life. Keep all those aggressiveness or when you get angry. So try to be calm and be composed, and to learn what has happened, what went wrong, and accordingly you have to decide what can be the right thing to do. I think I have got one video. Maybe when we have a 1 hour sessions, I will try to display it, if I could see that. The thing is, there are I forgot, I have seen that video, I forgot. Whenever certain things happen, there are 5 to 3 things that happens within our mindset. One is we get angry in the beginning, sometimes we accept it, then we surrender ourselves, then we give up, which means that okay, so whatever happens, let it happen. So I will go through the video again. Maybe in the next class I will tell you what is that the video is all about, like reaching from one position to the last position. So suppose if you fell down on the particular place, what is the next step you do? Next step is, why did I fail, and what is the reason? I should not do that. I get offended by other people, people are laughing at, thinking about all these things never really work it out. Make sure you are not going to fall into the same place again. No, that is the idea. Is that right? So when you make a mistake, don't ever think about the same mistake again and again. So why did I do that? I should have done in this way, that way. Thinking about different sort of opinions, like bringing out different ideas. You should have done it in a better manner, but that is not really going to help you out. Make sure that you are not going to repeat the same mistakes again. Suppose when you don't give your car for a service and you are driving your car, something went wrong and your car stuck somewhere in the middle when you are traveling somewhere. What is the first thing you do? We think about that, right? At least today you pray to God. Sometimes you say, at least today please start. You started to beg that at least today you start, and you have to reach that place, and maybe I will do the service as soon as I reach my place. That sort of a promise that you give to your car. You are alone and you are doing all those things, but at last you surrender yourself. Okay, fine, it's not really going to work it out. Sometimes you kick your cars and you do all those things, right? Then at last, what is the final decision? The destination is something that you have to decide that you have to give your car on service on time. That is a thing that you learned by that particular situation. So the same thing you have to apply for everything that you go through. If there is a sort of conflict, when you make a mistakes, you learn from the mistakes and make sure that you are not going to repeat the mistakes again. In terms of aggressive behavior, in terms of role pressure, in terms of too much expectation, if it is leads to a break your relationship, make sure that again you are not going to repeat the same thing, which means don't have too much expectation towards somebody, because they will have different problems. They will have a different set of they will have their own opinions. They will have different things to handle in their life. So we cannot expect them to say everything from whatever things that are going around in their life. So go through that when I share the slide, and accordingly you have to decide what sort of role is and how you can come up with overcome from the conflict. This is a conflict. Then what we are going to see is phases of conflict. So it has got 5 phases. We have a prelude to conflict, triggering event. Then we have initiation phase. Then we have a differentiation phase. Then resolution phase. So we will see what are those all are. So what is a prelude to conflict? What is a triggering event? And what is that initiation phase? And what is that differentiation phase and resolution phase? Now looking into so before we start talking about phases of conflict, the reasons of conflicts may happen among the countries also sometimes. Is that correct? So whenever conflict not only can arise between individuals, I think we stressed more upon individual areas. So correct? So earlier in the particular slide where we did not talk about, it happens among the countries also sometimes. Is that correct? So conflict is defined as a clash between individuals. Conflict can only arise between individuals, but also among the countries, even the political parties, and even among the states, or even the small conflict not controlled at the correct time may also lead to a large war. So correct, among the countries, when it's not when they don't agree on that, when they don't come to a agreement, which also lead to a war, leading to maybe like a war and rifts among countries, leading to major unrest and disharmony. So conflict is also defined as a clash between individuals arising out of differences in thought process, attitude, and understanding. Or conflict also results in heated argument. Like sometimes you have a psychological, physical abuses, and definitely loss of peace, which also leads to loss of peace and harmony. And conflict can actually change relationships. Friends can become foes and results of conflicts. Your close friends you might lose due to a very simple thing. Very small things would leads to losing your relationship, which you have taken a year to build, a year to reach that particular place. Then talking about phases of conflict, as I said, prelude to conflict, triggering event, initiation phase, differentiation phase, then you have a resolution phase. So where you have what is a prelude to conflict? Can somebody respond if you have any idea about what is a prelude to conflict? Okay, so fine. So prelude to conflict. So guys, are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, E1 section, G2. Okay, so prelude to conflict. So guys, so maybe you will, whatever I am sharing, these are the very basic things. So correct. So at least you learn some of the other. That would always going to help you out to build a better relationship among your friends, among your classmates, among your relatives. Even when you talk to your parents, in order to avoid the conflict, to your parents, towards your parent, what you can do is you just go through these ideas. That's more than enough to avoid it. But most important thing is, as I said in the beginning itself, I think in Ikigai, Zogari window, somewhere I said, be a better observer. Better observer is, so whatever happens, take it in a composed manner. Just be cool. It doesn't mean that you have to be cool every time. But just observe what went wrong, then accordingly you have to decide. Take time for everything, which means in terms of a relationship, you have to take a time. Don't ever come to the conclusions by listening to somebody whenever they say something wrong about other people, the third person. You take time to understand, and don't just listen to the words of the third person, and don't have a fight with somebody. You have to have a conversation with our friends. Sometimes you and me can be a very good, can be a better friend, but are you and me may be the enemies because we may not have a similar interest. Doesn't mean that I cannot be very good, cannot be the friend of very good, very close friend of one of your friend. So correct. So you cannot apply the same ideas, same ideology within your friend circle also. So correct. So maybe you have close friend and myself can have a similar interest. It happens throughout your life. So don't ever come to the conclusion. Be a better observer whenever you want to take set of decisions. Whenever there is a person who comes to you and have a disagreement, who wants to fight, how was it? Just be an observer like this child. You see here. Are you able to see the image? You should not have a sort of that be an observer, but so those sort of reactions you need not give, but be a better observer. Is that correct? So be a better observer. What went wrong? Then you have to decide. Now looking into prelude to conflict, triggering event, and initiation phase. Now looking into prelude to conflict is which involves all the factors which possibly arise a conflict among individuals. That is a prelude to conflict. So lack of coordination, that is one thing. Differences in interest, difference of interest, dissimilarity of culture. So they follow different culture and you follow different culture. Sort of religion that you follow. Maybe a conflict between as you follow different religion, so, which means you have to accept the reality. So that is the religions or the culture that you follow, that and all doesn't matter. So consider everyone as equal, all are human beings. So treat them the same way that you expected other people to treat you. If you do that, that would never ever leads to your conflict in terms of religion or caste or gender based or cultural based. You would avoid all those things when you see other people the same way that you see yourself. The same way you want to be treated by other people, you have to treat other people also. That's what I do, because what I say is, just I am not giving the positive things or saying that even other faculties. What I say is, when a student comes to you and asking you sort of suggestions or feedback, or when somebody makes a mistake, you see that you are into the place. Suppose you consider yourself as a student and how you want to be treated when you make mistakes. When a student makes a mistake in the exam hall, suppose you are the one who made a mistake in the exam hall, how do you want to be treated? What sort of punishment that can be done? So accordingly, you have to do that. So when you come to the department, what happens? Whether what sort of expectations the students would have? So the same way, you just treat them accordingly, which can also which would also resolve the conflict. Which means, there should not be a clash between faculty and the students. You should know what sort of expectation they have, and accordingly you have to decide. Because today you will be the student, and tomorrow what happens? You can become a manager or CEO. You can be anybody. So correct. But once a while you were a student. Now you are a student, but I'm talking about future. Suddenly the angel will not come suddenly. Okay, Durai, you are blessed, and from today onwards you are a faculty. So you forget everything what has happened. Everything is happens, right? As a student, you make fun at the last row, and you try to hide something. You try to play games. It happens. But once you suddenly become a faculty, you cannot treat students in such a manner. Once a while, you were into the place. So guys, the same way, when you reach such a positions, whoever is working under you, you see that you were also once a while in that particular position. But at the same time, what you have to have is, they should not take it as an advantage. That's very, very important. You are into the positions of giving knowledge to the students. So correct. So sometimes what happens is, too much freedom would also leads to a sort of maybe like a misunderstanding. They will take it as an advantage. They will not learn anything. So correct, because they will consider, okay, so he is my close friend, why should I do that? That also has to be the work. That should be the work. And at the same time, don't pressurize anybody when they need to complete the task. So guys, if you learn all those things, maybe in future, it always based on your experience, what you have, then you learn that. So through that also you can avoid the conflict. Now looking into prelude to conflict, we have two individuals, lack of coordination, differences in interest, and dissimilarity in culture, religion, educational background, what you have, that also lead to conflict. These are the instrumental in arising the conflict, which is a prelude to conflict. Then you have a triggering event. Triggering event is no conflict can arise on its own. Can somebody tell me that? Is there any conflict? Okay, so today we are going to have a conflict. Is there anything that happens, within your friends or with any people? There should be one or the other triggering event. Triggering event, that is where you should be the better observer to know, okay, so this one is going to be going to lead to a conflict. Maybe you are going to stop it then and there. So that is what no conflict can arise on its own. There has to be an event which triggers the conflict. And if you have a knowledge on that, this is going to lead to a conflict. If you could stop it then and there, you could avoid the conflict that happens within your friend circle. So there is another phase like a triggering event. Then we have a initiation phase. That's the third one. Initiation phase is actually the phase when the conflict has already begun. That you would be aware that when you have a disagreement, when you got differences of opinions, first minute, second minute, third, fourth, fifth, then after 10 minutes, if you are talking about the same points, if you are not even come to the conclusion, that is what the initiation phase is all about. It's actually the phase when the conflict has already begun. Like, the next step, like heated arguments, then it goes on abuses, verbal disagreements. Those are the all warning signs, warning alarms, which indicate that the fight is already on. So correct. So you are very much, only thing is you need to realize that when you have your voice, or there will be you increase your volume. So correct. So first thing, you talk about certain things, then you don't come to the conclusion, you don't agree, then you increase your volume, then it goes on. Then you'll have verbal disagreements, then you have arguments, then it leads to heated arguments, then it goes on to abuses. Those are the warning alarms, which indicates the fight is already on. That is the initiation phase. Then you have a differentiation phase, which is a phase when the individuals voice out their differences against each other. again, which is moreover related to one of the part of initiation phase. Then resolution phase is something that a conflict leads to nowhere. Individuals must try to compromise to some extent and resolve the conflict soon. That is a resolution phase, which talks about conflict leads to nowhere. Maybe what you can do is to, if you don't want to lose that particular relationship, maybe you must try to compromise. Okay, so this was my mistake or your mistake. Okay, that's fine, let's forget it. Then at least you need to compromise to some extent and try to resolve the conflict soon as possible. So these are the 5 phases of conflict. Then we have a conflict at workplace. Okay, registration number 296. 296 is here from E1. Yeah, kindly read. Okay, so here when a task is given to a set of people or a group to complete the task on time, what happens is, as I said earlier, some would agree, some would disagree. There would be sort of role pressure for the leader. So great. So that's what I told you earlier. But looking at the case study, Sandy was heading the operations department of a leading firm. Peter was reporting to Sandy, and somehow both never approved each other's ideas and thought process. So Peter was assigned a project which was to be submitted by end of the day, say by Sandy. So, correct? And Sandy, Peter disagreed at each and every point, and there were severe clashes between them. They could never come to a conclusion, and as a result, the project could never be completed within the stipulated time. So those both are the employees working somewhere. So, correct? Sandy as well as the Peter. But there would be the client, right? So who are giving salary for those people. So Sandy, even for Sandy and Peter. But what was the outcome of their conflict? Outcome is 0. So correct. So because what they had is only the disagreement and as well as the conflict among the, maybe like there might be the disagreement, or Peter might have had some other work to do, or the work what Sandy has given to Peter may not be, Peter was not familiar with or may not have much knowledge on those areas. There would be a number of reasons why Peter disagreed with Sandy's opinions or on that particular work. But looking into the outcome, what is they as a client, maybe in the work sector, they don't ever look for the reasons, but what the results that really matters a lot for the client side. So what was the outcome? Outcome is 0. But imagine yourself, so why it happens here, and what is the outcome that you get out of the conflict is, even in your personal life, even as an individual, sometimes sort of a positive conflict also it happens, which also maybe one or the other way it would benefit your side, but most of the conflict would be lesser outcome what you get. But imagine yourself constantly fighting with your fellow worker. Suppose if you are in the working sector, suppose if you are a Peter, do you think that you'll be happily going to office in the next day when you are not completing your project on time? Already there the clash between you and your operation head. There is a clash because you did not submit your work on time. So when you are not doing that the work on time, when there is a conflict, you would never feel like going to office the next day, right? And the conflict management also helps to find a middle way or alternative to any problem and the successful implementation of the idea. When you know that the conflict has taken place, when you know certain techniques to avoid the conflict or manage the conflict, that would always lead to you can lead a successful life. And conflict management is also one of the important, because it is always wise to prevent fight at the first place rather than facing its negative consequences. So when you know that, okay, these are the reasons behind conflict, and these are the first positions, or this is the starting position of the conflict. When you know all those things, when you know how to avoid it, then you are going to avoid the future consequences. So based on the conflict, what would happen. But let's see what are the effects of conflict in the organizations, the work sector, what we have seen so far. So first one is, as I said earlier, absenteeism, because you would never feel like you're going to office from the next day when there's a conflict with your HODs, with your colleagues in your job sector. And what you do is you try to take leaves if there is a conflict with your close friend in the same working place. The next day, what you do is you at least take a break. Is like, you want to take a break, or you'll be absent for the next day. Sometimes you will be losing your salary because of your absenteeism. So it happens, right? That is the effect of conflict. That is the first thing what they do is, when there is a conflict in the working sector, that is the first thing they would do. And non-productivity, if there is a conflict, that is what happened here among with Peter and Sandy also. The productivity was zero. Is that correct? So non-productivity, because why should I do this work if there is a conflict within your friends? I will never do his work, and maybe you can ask somebody else to complete the project, or complete the task. Sometimes when there is a conflict, when you know somebody that he is good at that with a particular work, and when you are not having the good relationship with that particular person, but you know that he can do the better job, better work than anybody else in the working sector. But as you have fight with those particular employee, what you do is you approach somebody else who may not be very good at in terms of completing that particular task, which also leads to non-productive productivity. Then you have stress. Suppose if your close friends is sitting just in front of you, and you never talk to each other due to conflict, then you see, whenever you see him, whenever you want to communicate, whenever you want to pass certain message, because you are all working the same working place, automatically, which would also leads to a stress. So you will have a stress, like you can see here. Suppose okay, so we will see somebody. Suppose somebody is sitting here, and if there is a conflict between her and somebody who is sitting here, just imagine, they never concentrate on their work, because the stress is already built in their mind. So correct. So stress you will have. Then staff turnover. What is a staff turnover? So when when you have a conflict among the faculties all the times, what happens is you skip the job and you move to some other organization. So as a manager, as a project head, suppose if you have a conflict with your employees every time, what they do is, as a group, they will leave your organizations in future. Suppose if there is a conflict among your employees as well as the management, if you have a conflict, then they will be out of office. So now looking into conflict management skills. Okay, so why you have to have a conflict management skills is to imagine yourself, like, as I said earlier, imagine yourself constantly fighting with your fellow worker. You would never feel like going to office. Conflict management helps to find a middle way, alternative way, successful implementation of the idea. Conflict management is very important, because management is very important, because it's always wise to prevent a fight at the first place rather than facing its negative consequences. Now, preventing conflict, or conflict management skills is, conflict management plays a very important role in preventing conflict among individuals. Conflict starts with when individuals think on a different lines and find very difficult to accept each other ideas, and maybe which also leads to which destroys peace, and which also lowers the productivity, which we discussed earlier. And all the factors leading to conflict must be explored, and and the efforts must be made prevent a conflict. Like, what are the techniques which could prevent the conflict? We are going to see from the upcoming slides, or how to avoid a conflict. That's what we are going to see here. So preventing conflict, like, first learn to keep a control on your emotions. However emotional you are, but try to control your emotions. That's the first step which you should follow. The second one, be a good and patient listener. Should listen well, instead of just reacting to the words whatever the person says. But be a better listener. When you are going to be the listener, better listener, you could always avoid the conflict. So correct. So be a good and be patient. Be a better listener. Never be rigid on any point. Instead, be flexible and try to find an alternative. Don't stick to a particular idea. Always see, is there any alternative solutions for the particular problem. Through that way also you can prevent, you can avoid the conflict. Learn to keep a control on your tongue, which means that uh, don't just speak. So when somebody is very angry, you would never know what has happened earlier to him. You never know what has happened before a minute. Second, so if they are angry, just take a time to understand. Maybe you be patient for some time, and later on you can talk to them. The best thing would be, like, don't ever react. Just be quiet and respond to the situations. And the misunderstanding also lead to a conflict. And try to understand. Of course misunderstanding would lead to conflict, but you accept. You just be a listener and see what are the points they are saying. Maybe like when there is a clash in future, when you get married, you take time to understand what was the reasons behind it. And because you have sort of conclusions, and when they are not coming to that particular point, then you try to misunderstand, right? So when they say what you expect certain things that has to be said by the person. But if they don't say those things, and if they talk about different areas, then you automatically get into a misunderstand. You try to you get into a misunderstanding towards your relationships. You take time and listen to that, because the way they say things may be different. So correct. So they may be saying the same thing, but the way they say would be different. But try to understand that also. So correct. Which can also resolve the conflict happen among among yourself. Then effective communication goes a long way in preventing conflict. It has to be the effective communications. Then a small sorry can work wonders and prevent conflict and unnecessary tensions. You just say sorry and just move ahead. So correct. So whether sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes the other person makes a mistake, but a small sorry can work wonders and can prevent conflicts, and you can avoid unnecessary tensions. No one wins in a fight, and you gain nothing out of it. No matter, even if you think that you won the argument, if it's a debate, that's fine. But other than debate, if you are having an argument among your friends, either you lose your relationship, or there would be sort of misunderstanding. If the person get to know, later on they try to avoid you. Other than that, you gain nothing out of the fight what you have. Okay, so again, we have tips for conflict management for professionals. Make sure your communication is effective and impressive, and be a good and patient listener. Again, it's the same thing. The pitch and the tone you have to be taken great care of. Sometimes I used to tell to the students in our classroom also. Yesterday it happened when I asked a question, very simple question I asked, and he said, I don't know. The tone that which you use, it should be very responsible, and it should be what I told him, that do not respond the same way what you are responding now. You have to take care of your tone. Maybe like he might have genuinely answered, it's correct, but as a faculty they won't expect those sort of answers from the student side. So correct. Maybe you should know to whom you are talking, so accordingly you need to take care of your pitch on the tone, that has to be taken care of when you talk to your close friends, when you talk to your relatives, when you talk to your family members, when you talk to your manager. So it depends. You have to take care of your tone, the voice modulations which you have has to be taken care of. Then adopt a positive attitude. Depends upon the situations, the person that you meet, and depends upon the culture that you follow. You have to adapt your positive attitude. Never criticize anyone or make him feel small. Given there are people who are very intelligent, and you could see very well notice that some are struggling to get knowledge on those areas. Never ever criticize anybody. Everybody has a sort of strength within themselves. Never criticize anyone. Don't ever make him small. Maybe it can be the fun element for you for sometimes, but the psychologically the person whom you are making fun of would feel small. Maybe they may not be saying in front of you, but within themselves, psychologically, they would be affected. So don't ever criticize. Among your friends, criticizing, making fun, that's absolutely fine. You could do that, no problem. But you should also have a knowledge to read their mind, whether they are happy about it or within themselves, they feel sorry about, maybe like they try to avoid that sort of incident that happen in future. You should be knowing it, right? So when you have a close set of friends, when you make fun, at least one or twice they would be saying like, no, don't do that. When you have sort of feedback from that particular person, don't ever repeat it again. Don't ever put them in. Don't ever make them feel small. Be impartial at work. Suppose if you are in the higher position, don't be partial at work. You should be impartial. Prefer the conference room or boardroom or any suitable place for presentations or seminars or discussions. And if somebody is making a mistake, you are in the position to correct them. Take them into conference room or take them separately and give them the feedback. A professional must avoid blame game at work. Maybe like, as a leader, when a mistake happens, you should be responsible. You should take it as your role and try to resolve the issues instead of blaming somebody else. As a professional must avoid blame games at work. Don't ever blame other people. You would lose that sort of relationship in terms of your working sector. So don't have a blame games, and never spread unnecessary baseless rumors. So correct. So which you should avoid. If somebody is talking about the third person, it's better avoid that particular place and move on. So don't ever talk about the third person, and don't have conversations about third persons within your side. So never spread unnecessary baseless rumors when you are not having any knowledge. Like I heard people were saying like she is like that, he is like that, and they meant wrong. They made this mistake. How do you know? No, he said, she said, but you have no knowledge on that area. So correct. So never ever spread unnecessary and baseless rumors among your friends or anybody who are with you. So correct. Then so with that, these are the techniques that you could follow in order to avoid the conflict. With that, we come to the conclusion. To conclude, conflict can be many types. So, right? It can be many types, like fighting with each other, never lead to conclusions. If you are not on the same lines as other individuals, never ever fight. Instead, try your best to sort it out, the differences what you have. So, right? So, with that, we are going to conclude the portions, maybe the topics that on conflict resolution. If you have any questions, you can ask me. If not, even you can ask me in the next class. If you have any questions, please ask me here, or else we can go ahead and taking attendance. So guys, first thing is, are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, any question?